Dispatchers help callers on the worst days of their lives. For over 25 years, we've been there. A silent partner in millions of calls thanks to our redundant and diverse networks that ensure call delivery. Today, cities are bigger, traffic more congested, and the challenge is more complex. But you're never alone, because InDigital is quietly improving, implementing, and driving the next generation of 911, so you're supported in every situation. Make the switch at InDigital.net.
If Within the Trenches has ever taught you something, open your eyes to what it is like to be a 911 dispatcher, or has inspired you to become one, then help support us and join our Patreon. Get exclusive bonus content, one-of-a-kind swag, discounts on merchandise, ad-free early access to new episodes, and much more. To join, please visit patreon.com/WTT podcast. And if you're an industry partner, we have something for you as well. And now, for the show.
This is Jordan, and you're listening to the Code 7 Podcast Network.
Warning. This episode contains the 3 A's of podcasting: adult content, adult language, and awesomeness. You've been warned.
Dispatch.
There is no one over here to cook our lunch. We are waiting for our lunch, and there's no one here to cook our lunch.
All right, calm down. Where are you at?
The group home. Now, what are you going to do?
We'll get some help over there for you, okay?
Welcome to Open Mic, where we visit the lighter side of dispatch, because laughing is good medicine. Oh, yeah. Welcome back, everyone. It is February 16th, 2025. And let me move the camera here for TikTok just a little bit. All right. Hello. Welcome. Happy birthday, 911. That's right. What are you, 57 years old now? You look amazing. You look amazing. Oh, Steve jumping in here. This live is too sweet. Woo! Too sweet. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome everyone. Welcome back. And I am excited to be here with all of you. And I am fresh back from the Be the Difference conference. There's a lot of stuff that we have to talk about today. And I know I'm jumping in here about 10 minutes late, 12 minutes late, something like that. But I had a lot of stuff that I had to do. A lot of stuff. And as you can see, I've got my green screen in back of me here. Let's see. Over here on Instagram. Haven't gotten into a live in ages. Good to be here. All right. I'm glad to have you here as well. Everyone joining. I've got everyone over here, Facebook, YouTube, X, as well as Instagram. And then right over here, I've got everyone jumping in on TikTok. So please throw in some reactions, share this. We'll get some more people coming in. We can talk some more. This is what I love about Open Mic Live, because we can just talk. We can either share funny 911 stories, or we can just talk about some whatever we're going through, because that's what Open Mic is all about. Open Mic Live. We check in with each other. So right off the bat, this is sponsored by InDigital, Alito Next Gen Core Services. Shout out to subscribers as always. Thank you for everything. Looking back over here, that's crazy to think back in the day when the TV show Rescue 911 was airing. 911 was still so new. Yeah, dude. Yeah, for real. Yeah, exactly. It was like 20 years old or something. Because Rescue 911 was like in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, something like that. So 25, 30 years old, somewhere around there. Either way, 911 was very young. That's the crazy thing. There's still some areas, believe it or not, that do not have 911. For real. Like that is facts. Like there are some places still that don't have it. They have to call the just like a regular phone number to get to police fire or EMS, however it is in whatever place. So it's definitely odd to think that. Um, so as I was saying is well, shout out to subscribers and it's good to be back. Checking in with everyone as always, as we always do, on a scale of 1 to 10. How are you doing? How are you feeling? 1 being shitty, 10 being awesome. How do you feel? I'm coming in at like an 8.5 already. So, where are all of you at? What is your number? Throw that in the comments. I would love to see what your number is, but also, where are you at right now? Where are you watching from? I'm out here in Indiana, and it is storming outside right now. Earlier, my daughters and I, as well as my brother and my brother's girlfriend's son, they ended up coming to visit, and there is a nice size hill behind my home, and we were out there earlier sledding. It was a lot of fun. It was excellent, but also, um, at the same time, it was super cold. It was hella cold, man. It was crazy. Let's see, over here, we've got, coming in at a 6 and a 9. That is excellent. Those are great numbers. How about over here? Everybody else? Um, oh, Leah. Leah says, I moved over here to TikTok from IG. Awesome. Well, welcome over here as well. And I'm just glad to be here with all of you. This is, I love doing open mic. It is so much fun to just sit back with you all for about an hour or so and just chill, just talk. And I appreciate all of you more than you know. This has been a lot of fun. Let's see over here. It looks like the name on here says Princess of Hell. I dig it. Been sick and trying to get through the rest of my shift tonight, dude. Like for sure. Um, I remember those days. I remember those days for sure. Going in and of course everyone sometimes just thinking back, sometimes there would be people in dispatch that were sick already. And so I go in and I'm sick too, but I I would go in and immediately someone would be like just like spraying down and everything, and I'd be like, "Thanks. I will be doing the same thing because I'm coming down with it as well." And then working 12 hours, or even if someone called in and you're working now a 16-hour shift straight and you're feeling like ass, oh my god. Yeah, no. I remember those days. I hope you feel better. Seriously, I hope you feel better soon. Um, because that sucks. It sucks going in and just feeling like hell. You're trying to put and pour everything into what you're doing, right? Because that's what we do. But then at the same oh, right there, that's it. Exactly. Yes. But then, you're trying to survive yourself and you're just like, what time is it? Wait, it's only been an hour? I feel like shit. Yeah, it would suck, man. I remember that. It was horrible. So I feel for you. I hope you feel better. Uh Princess of Hell says nothing like phlegm and radio. Yeah. Yeah, no, because you already feel it right there, and you're like, "Doop, um, Central caller advised that and it's like right in there, plus you're kind of losing your voice, and maybe you have a cough drop in your mouth at the same time. So I kind of take it as that's a little bit of payback for some of the officers when they're talking with the microphone in their mouth and you're trying to understand them. Now they get to understand you. Oh shit. Chris, what's going in? What's going in? What's going on? Coming in. That's what I was reading it already and trying to talk at the same time. Coming in at 8 from Mass. It's been storming since yesterday between snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Dude, Yeah, no, for real. I know exactly what you're talking about. I was dealing with the same thing when I was on my way back from the Be the Difference conference. It was something. So let's go back here really quick. Episode 588 went out, and excellent episode with Angela. Make sure to check it out if you have not had the chance to check it out yet. And then, of course, we've got episode 589 coming in. 589, I ended up pushing ahead of some of the other episodes that I had coming out because this one was just there was just something I had to push it. I had to push it forward. Episode 589 that's going to be coming out this coming Wednesday. The audio will hit on Tuesday, but the video, the video, it's a video, but it's also kind of audio as well. I mean, it is audio, but I have to, for the logos and everything for sponsors and such, I have to put it out there as a video too. But either way, the episode that is going to be coming out this week is over here Leah says, I'm not a dispatcher, but I'm super interested. Thanks for all of the great resources and perspectives. Hey, no, you know what? That is awesome. I tell people all the time that it's the way that we talk about what we do that leaves that lasting impression on others who are not in public safety and might be interested in getting into public safety. That's the perception. That's the impression that is left on the person that we're talking to. Ashley over here says, I was at the APCO conference in Maine last year. Your keynote speech was incredible. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. That means a lot. I thank you so much. That it was an awesome experience. Of course, we did Imagine Listening as well during that keynote, and it was very powerful. That episode is going to be coming out soon for everything that was recorded. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun with everyone in Maine, and I also got to try the soda Moxie. I got to try Moxie. It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. I thought it was all right. It probably would have been all right if it was cold, because the one that I had was warm. But either way, I had a lot of fun over there in Maine, and I'm glad that you were able to be there and for the keynote as well, because I had tons of fun with everyone. So episode 589 is going to be with my good friend Ryan Chambers, 911 professional, also works for Mindbase, and his parents, Ronnie and Carla, were on that episode as well. And holy hell, man, let me tell you, that was a very emotional, deep, heavy episode, but very powerful. And the episode is about the effect and impact of 911 on family, but also at the same time, when 911 needs 911. And that episode is, I believe, about an hour and 20 minutes. Now, here's the crazy thing about going into what was going on with that episode. Over here on Instagram, Steve says, Ryan is the man. Yeah, that dude is awesome. Just a behind the scenes look at some of that stuff. So you can't see it here in the big camera, but over here on TikTok, the wireless mic, and actually, let me, if I can lift it, just there you go, so that the others can see it as well. So I've got these awesome wireless mics. I wanted to try something different. Okay. I wanted to use the 4 wireless mics that I have, record it, and then put it all together into the episode. Now, here's the thing. Usually, every single audio file syncs up the way it's supposed to, okay? Not this time. For whatever reason, one of the files would not do it. It, like, every 2 to 3 minutes, that one file would go out of sync. So I had to listen. Luckily, because we're going through it, right? I can hear the echo, when the one would go off. So then 2.5 to 3 minutes for an hour and 20-minute episode, I'm going through and then cutting a piece and then moving it back in sync. Listening, cutting, moving it back in sync. It took me a day and a half to edit that episode because I just wanted it to be right. I wanted it to be what it was in that room when we were recording. There's a lot of tears shed. There's a lot of emotion. Wait, Leo over here says only a dozen episodes in, and I heard you mention Polk County, Florida. That's where I am. I took it as a sign. Yeah. I love the area. I love that area, and I still go back and visit. I'll actually there's a conference that I'll be going to in just a couple months that'll be out in the area. So yeah, I'll be back. Frostproof. Woo, frostproof. So the episode, it just it's a tough one because I'm sitting there with Ryan and his parents, and they're telling me this story. And it's a story about um my friend's wife and the day that she passed away and how 911 came out and really wrapped their arms around Ryan and his family during this hard time. And sitting there with them as they're going through this and talking about it and getting it out, it was it was tough, but it was an honor. It was an honor for to be there to help share their story further. Because Ryan had come on and shared the story, but that was about 400 episodes ago. And when we did the episode, there was detail, but it was a lot deeper with his parents on the episode as well. And each one of them going through what happened. And I honestly can't wait for all of you to listen. It is a very powerful episode, and I sent him an early cut of it. And to see him say it's awesome and it's perfect, and a thank you for having them on, that just made my whole day. Everything. So Ryan and your parents, Ronnie and Carla, thank you, the three of you, for coming on and sharing your story. Again, it was an honor, and thank you for trusting me to share your story, but also show the impact that 911 has on family, and also when 911 needs 911. That is going to be one, definitely. Make sure to check that out. As I said earlier, when we first started this, happy birthday to 911. 911 is, I believe, 57 years old now. 57 years. February 16th, 1968 was when the very first 911 call was ever placed, and that was in Haleyville, Alabama. And I've been out to Haleyville. I posted a picture earlier, and it was really cool. It was when I was still working with InDigital. We were out in Alabama doing some training stuff for the state, and my coworker Vicky and I were out there, and it was just a hell of a good time. It was cool visiting Haleyville and going in and seeing, like, they've got a replica phone in there that red one, because the original one is at the I believe it's called the National Law Enforcement Museum. If I got that wrong, my apologies, but it's the museum that they have there for law enforcement, and there's a section for 911, and there's a spot. I have a picture standing next to it where the phone is in this glass case, and it's really cool to be able to see it. But also, again, being in Haleyville, had to stop in, and when you walk in, right in the lobby area when you're walking in, there's this huge logo of the state of Alabama and the phone, and it says, I think it shows that it was, where the first 911 call was placed. I can't remember exactly what it says, so I don't want to I don't want to say it because it's going to be wrong. I don't remember, and I don't have my phone. My phone is right here. I can't just go to the picture. But either way, it's very cool. If you get a chance, I mean, just check it out. Or maybe I'm just nerding out because it has to do with 911, and 911 has been a significant part of my life. Honestly, something that I never thought was going to happen. I think a lot of us in public safety or in any profession, sometimes you end up somewhere where you think, I never thought that I was going to be here. I never thought that I was going to be doing something like this. And here I am. And I'm doing what I do. And that's how I feel in this profession. Leo over here on TikTok says, how old were you when you started dispatching? I was 19. I'm 43 now. I was 19, and I've been in public safety ever since. So I've been in 911 for a while. As you can see, the gray. Oh man, but yeah, I was 19. I was 19 when I started. But yeah, 911 has been a significant part of my life, and I wouldn't change it because of everything I do for a living now. It has been an experience that is sometimes hard to put into words, but I love it, and I wouldn't change it. Has it been hard? Yes, it has definitely been hard. There are a lot of things that, people see or whatever that they don't understand, they don't know. Wait, Leah says, why am I the only one talking so much? Hey, it's all good. We're talking together. Everybody else can watch. um, for example, like I'm going to create a couple of videos on my personal YouTube channel. I've got the YouTube channel for the podcast, but I've got a personal one as well that I'm going to be adding a bunch of videos to. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of things that I could talk about that I think people could get a lot from. Like, for example, what I wish I knew before I went to the private sector, or what I wish I knew before I started a podcast, or, a lot of different things like this. Or, when you're thinking about going to the private side of 911, what are some things that you need to think about? And there's a lot of things, because it's not all glamorous. And I think sometimes people see pictures that I'm posting where I'm at a conference, and don't get me wrong, it's fun. I love it. Like I said, I wouldn't change it. I love going and speaking and teaching, doing the podcast, all of it. But what people don't see is some conferences or some of the places that I teach at, they don't see me driving for 12, maybe 18 hours. A couple of years ago, the National NENA Conference was in Grapevine, Texas. And I was doing a book launch, which we're going to talk about here in a little while. I was doing a book launch during that time. And I'm posting all of these pictures of, hanging out, traveling around. John, what's going on, man? And it looks like I'm living the life. And in a sense, yes. However, what you didn't see was that I drove almost 20 hours straight to get to the place that I was going to be staying at. And when I got there, it was about 2:33 in the morning. I slept for maybe 3, 4 hours, and then I had to get up to go to the venue to set up my booth. That's the stuff that people don't see. Okay. Or that I had just that much sleep and I'm doing everything all day plus teaching. And then by the time I get back to my room, it is late and I have to crash, hopefully crash, and get up super early and do it again the next day. Those are the things that people don't see. So yeah, it's fun and everything, but man, there are some times where there's a lot that goes into it. And again, that's just some of the stuff that I want people to know, that I want people to see too, because there have been a lot of people who've been like, so, I kind of want to get into the private side of 911 because it looks like that's where the place to be. And I'm like, this is the hard truth. Yes, companies would love to have you because of your 911 experience. You'll come in and potentially be a customer success manager or a PSAP ambassador, which is awesome. It is great. But here's the thing. You need to make sure you have a plan B. And I say that because, and don't get me wrong, there are a lot of folks that have made it through, okay, and are still there and still doing things, which is awesome. But some companies, if they start losing money from investors or whichever, sometimes those positions are the ones that are the first to go. Now, if you have like a marketing background, graphic design, tech background, as well as your 911 knowledge, then you've made yourself more marketable. And you might be able to switch to a different position in whatever company that you're in. But if not, you either go back to dispatch or um you find a different company. And sometimes there are some people, there's a saying, the faces are the same. The only thing that changes is the t-shirt. Does that make sense? Faces are the same. The only thing that changes is the shirt or the polo, whichever. Meaning people are switching from company to company to company to continue doing what they're doing. Sometimes people go back to dispatch and they'll end up being like a director, deputy director, or whatever, and that's awesome because our hearts are in it. Where 911 is what we love, and sometimes people go back, and that's completely fine. There's no shame in it. All I'm saying is that when you're thinking about going to the private side of 911, and please don't take this either as scaring you or anything like that. Follow your dreams, man. Follow your heart. Follow your gut. I'm just letting you know the truth to it, that sometimes, woo, I was lucky enough that the original company who plucked me out of dispatch, they found me through the podcast. And they wanted to continue to support everything that I was doing, while at the same time I was helping them with marketing. They wanted to be seen as a supporter, um, not an owner. They didn't want to own any of my stuff because that was how they found me. They were supporting the profession through me, which was awesome. That's one of the coolest things. That's one of the best things. That's what I loved about In Digital, and I still do. They're my main sponsor right now. and I'm still really good friends with all of them. But not every situation is the same. It's not always the same. But it was great within digital because they didn't want any of my intellectual property. They didn't want any of that because I made it, and they were getting a lot of exposure through what I was doing, which is amazing. Is one of the best things. So my situation was completely different. So I only mentioned that because, like I said, there's other videos and stuff that I'm going to be putting out there on my personal one where I'm just kind of talking about things on what to look out for, or if you ever have any questions, or even just what I wish I would have known before starting a podcast. Now, here's the thing. When I started this podcast, it was at the end of 2012, early 2013. And at that time, people still people didn't know what a podcast was. So one of the things though that I will mention in that video is um don't worry about the numbers. That will come later. And if I could go back in time to talk to myself, that's one of the things I would tell myself. I would tell myself, listen, you're doing great things. People are really enjoying hearing these stories. Don't stop. Don't let it get you down that the numbers might not be where you would want them to be. It'll come later. Concentrate on the content, but more importantly, the people who are coming on to share their stories. Concentrate on that because the numbers will come later. Don't let that shit get you down. And I think that's one of the things with a lot of content creators that's what they see right off the bat is the numbers. And they're like, I'm putting out such good stuff. Why is it not happening? Well, for years, I just buckled down and I just kept going and kept going. And yes, the numbers came. But in the beginning, now it wasn't to the point where I was going to stop. There was no way anyone was going to get me to stop doing what I was doing because I believe in it so much, and I still do, and I always will. That these stories are that important. People need to know about them. And now, over a decade later, and also in the beginning, all of it was doing for free. And if I didn't have to make money or anything like that, I would still do it for free because I love doing it. Now, that's not the reality. You know, I got to find sponsors. I got to do teaching on the side and doing all these other things to continue doing what I do. But I love doing it. But in the beginning, I was doing it. And I was going to conferences, sharing stories, teaching. But over a decade later, the podcast is heard in over 60 countries. And I just surpassed 2.3 million downloads. When I started this, I would have never thought that it was going to do that. But I believed in it so much that everyone else believed too. And they still do. And that's why I love all of you so much. And the fact that I get to do this with all of you, it's been an amazing experience. Again, I wouldn't change it. Sorry, I went on a little tangent there. Leah says, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Michael Rich, what's going on, man? Yeah. There's just things that I want people to know. Because, you know, you might see certain things and you're like, man, this looks awesome. Man, this looks, you know, this or that, or it looks easy. Dude, when I started doing this, it was not that easy. It wasn't. It's not as easy as it is now. People can easily go onto YouTube or anything right now and start creating stuff and getting it out there and getting views. The thing though is that you might end up getting tons of views, right? Tons of things in the beginning, and then it's plateaus and then it drops off. And I think that's where a lot of people end up throwing in the towel or thinking, I don't know that I can do this anymore. Princess from Hell over here says an awesome tangent. Thank you so much. I appreciate that as well. Um, it's people start worrying about the numbers and stuff, and it's like, don't worry about that shit. Just pay attention to what you're doing and the message that you really want to put out there. Because for me, I didn't care what people were saying. Some people in the beginning were like, "Man, no one's gonna wanna listen to that shit. No one's gonna wanna listen to this or that, or you're wasting your time. It's just a hobby." I'm like, "No, this is not a hobby. Something is going to happen. I feel it. I can feel it." Michael over here says, "Man, already, uh, ready for you to come back to North Carolina." I'm ready to come back to North Carolina too. Also says, "Man, I love what you're doing, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate it more than you know, and I love doing what I do. I love it because if I can help the profession in a way of not just getting their stories out, but us also being able to talk to each other and feel comfortable talking about what it is that we do, damn it, that's what I'm going to do. That's what my 8-hour course is all about. Like it's a communications course, but it's a back to basics on communications, and it has to do with all of us talking with each other and feeling more comfortable about what we do, more importantly, why we do it, but also talking about it. Because sometimes it's hard to talk about it. And it's okay. I was there as well. But if I can help someone not feel alone, then that is what I'm going to do. So I mentioned that I am fresh back from the Be the Difference conference. And it was a good time. Such a good time. It was last week. We were in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It was the 2025 Be the Difference conference put on by the Denise Amberly Foundation as well as the Healthy Dispatcher. And I was lucky enough that they hosted the podcast there. I got a cool booth, had my stuff set up. I had my I Am 901 championship belt with me. Props to my homie Stacy in Alaska for making that for me. She's got one as well. We are tag team partners. Love that belt. So many people coming up to take pictures with the belt. It was so cool. But also just being there with everyone. When the attendees walked in, I remember there were a couple folks that walked up. They didn't see the name on the app right away, and there was someone who came up and just kinda looked and smiled, and I smiled back, and, I said hello, and then they stopped, and they go, "It's you." And I said, "It is." And she goes, "You're here." And I was like, "So are you." And she goes, "No, wait, you're Ricardo from Within the Trenches, like, I Am 911 and stuff." And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "I've been following you since, like, the beginning of what you were doing, and it just man, it's hard to say this stuff sometimes because I don't always celebrate my wins, mostly because I don't want anyone to ever be like, 'Oh, he's full of himself. His head is too big,' or whatever." No, I don't see myself like any of that or anything. I'm just a 911 nerd who loves what he does. So we were talking there, and we got a selfie and stuff. I'm gonna be posting these pictures and everything. And she was super cool. Like all the people who walked up were so awesome. But Leo over here says, "Is the Florida conference only for dispatchers? Is that something interested parties could attend?" No, you can as well. I mean, as far as I know, anybody can go. Like you can. All you have to do is pay the fee, and you can go in and you can check out classes. Um, yeah, go to nena.org. NENA .org, and just go to events, and the information will be there. And actually, my bad, Nina is in California. The Navigator Conference. I'm sorry, the Navigator Conference. So look up the Navigator 2025. That's the one that's going to be in Orlando. That's the one that I'm going to be at, and I'm going to have a booth there and everything. So yes, check that out. It is put on by the IAED. Okay, IAED, the Navigator Conference, on the website right now as we speak. Oh, perfect. Awesome. Well done. Yes, it's going to be there. Yeah, so check it out. And yeah, it'll be in Orlando. So I don't know where I was at. I'm sorry. I'm just so excited and stoked that you're all about this that I completely lost what I was saying. Oh, just that it was awesome. Everybody who was coming up. No. You don't have to be sorry. It is all good. It was just that's me just being super excited. That's what it was. Um let's see. Michael goes, gotta be back tomorrow morning for last day of rotation. Just wanted to stop in, brother. Hey, have a good one. Have a good night. And I'm glad that you stopped in. And I'm looking forward to coming back to North Carolina as well. It might be the week before National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. So we'll see. We'll check you later. Um, so it was really awesome to have all these folks coming up and just saying hello, taking pictures with the belt, buying some swag. I had some I am 911 hats there, some wristbands and everything. And it was really cool. So again, big shout out to the Denise Amberly Foundation as well as the Healthy Dispatcher for hosting the podcast there. I had an amazing time with everyone, and just getting to talk to so many people that I know, but also people that I was meeting for the first time. A lot of people too who are like, "I know your voice." One person walked up and says, um, "It's crazy standing here and listening to you talk because I listen to the podcast all the time, but here you are now." And I'm just like, I'm here. So it was awesome. Again, it was awesome. Oh, Jolie Chase, I see joined over here on TikTok. Jolie, how are you? I haven't seen you in forever. I hope that you are doing well. So many different things that happened at that conference. I had again so much fun with everybody. I look forward to going back if I have the chance, and that is going to be a good time. So I flew out there, right? I was going to do open mic, but the internet in the vendor hall wasn't great at all. Plus, it was Super Bowl Sunday. Nobody was going to be jumping in. So I ended up just postponing it until today, and went through the week. Everything was awesome, like I said. Hung out with a lot of cool people, and I ended up rushing back. Now, I came back Wednesday afternoon. Seems like something always happens. Um, so I'm sitting waiting to fly back, and I'm sitting right across from the gate. Okay, and I was hungry, so I got a burger, which was awesome. Thank you, Pavilion Bar and Grill, I think is what it was there in the Myrtle Beach um, airport. And I'm looking across at the screen, and it says that it's delayed until 1:14 p.m. So I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. I'm excited to get back home to see my kids and stuff, and it'll be fine. So I'm working on some stuff in Detroit. I was flying in Detroit. It was getting battered with bad weather. So I was expecting for a delay or something. And this was a straight shot, Myrtle Beach to Detroit. And my server, he goes, "Hey, you said that you were delayed, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay, well, I'm going to, I just got to go cut up some fruit that we've got in the back. If you need me for anything, just have someone come get me. I can run your card and get you out." And I said, "Okay, cool." So I'm working, and then I hear, now boarding for, I don't know what zone it was, but it was for my flight. And I thought, "Oh shit, it's not delayed. It's not delayed." Because it never popped up on my app either. So I thought, what the hell is going on? Okay. So I'm trying to find someone and I'm like jumping around, like, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Someone else ended up coming up to ring me up. I ring up really fast. Right next door was a little, like, one of those convenience shops that just has, like chips and, all types of things. So I got a water and stuff really fast. And I was one of the last people to get on. But I get on and they're telling us, so we might have a little bit of turbulence on the takeoff. It should be fine, completely fine for the rest of the time. However, when we go to land, it might get a little bumpy because Detroit is getting some weather right now. And I'm thinking, oh no, I don't. Okay. So, oh, hold on a minute. Oh, my homie Karen, what's up, yo? Over here says you gotta download Trip It, brother. Okay, I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna check it out and um see what I can do with it and use it. If you travel way more than I do, so if you're saying I should check this out, then I'm gonna check it out. So I end up we're in the air, and yeah, sure enough, it's pretty bumpy on the way up. And the rest of the flight, though, was super good. It was only an hour and 25 minutes from Myrtle Beach to Detroit. Pretty fast, okay? And then before you know it, they're saying to us, "All right, we're beginning to, come down and stuff." And that's when the turbulence hit. And you could see people just like starting to brace themselves, and I'm like, "Okay, here we go." And it's just and then we land hard, just bah. And I look outside, and oh yeah, it was not good. It was kind of scary. Oh wait, let's see. Karen says it's faster than the airlines with updates on your flight. Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm going to download that as soon as I'm done with this because yes, I want that. That would have helped out with a lot of other flights that I had. I'm going to thank you so much for that. So I end up landing, get my bags and stuff, go to my car, and as soon as I pay my fee there in the long-term parking, I go to take off. And as soon as I go through, oh wait, John says you and air travel, man. I know, right? Yes. So I end up leaving the car garage, and as soon as I go out into the open, you can hear the like all of the sleet just on the windshield. Not good. Oh wait, Leah says, "Oh, I see you listed in the exhibitor list. So glad you mentioned this. Going to try to attend for sure." Yes, I can't wait to see you there. That would be awesome. So it's hitting. Now here's the thing. The fluid that I have is just regular fluid, and it's so cold that it is like everything is starting to like freeze up and stuff, and my wipers were not doing what they were supposed to be doing. So I'm driving and I'm watching all of these semis go around me and like kind of swerving. So I'm trying to back off, and I finally get to this gas station that I usually stop at. And I ended up getting the all-weather washer fluid. because I needed it. It definitely helped. But the whole way home, I had my vehicle in snow mode, and wait, Leah says, "I live in Florida. I don't understand any of this." Just kidding. Yeah, well, when I lived in Florida for that time, I never had to deal with it either, but I've grown up with it. I've driven through it. Sometimes it's fun, and sometimes it's scary. And when I was driving home a few days ago, it was scary because you couldn't really see anything, man. You couldn't see a lot, and I've got my wipers going, and it was coming down pretty good, but I made it fine. It took me a little bit longer to get home, but it was fine. I was fine with taking a little bit longer because I wanted to be safe. So, um, I end up getting home, and when I get home, I have time to prepare for what I'm doing the next day. Okay. So, Thursday, just a few days ago, I had the opportunity to do something that was just amazing. So, back in October, I was the keynote speaker at Nena Mexico, Mexico Nina, Nina Mexico. I got to share my story and just made such an impact there. One of the people there works for an organization in DC, and they cover the Latin Americas. Okay. And we had been talking at Mexico Nina about the possibility of sharing dispatch stories from those out of those areas. And the person that I was talking to, Karen, not the same Karen that I was just talking to over here, different Karen. She got a hold of me and she goes, "Look, our day of when we switched to 911 is actually February 11th. That's our anniversary. But we want to highlight the 911 professionals in our regions through you and the podcast. We would love for you to join us. We want to put this event together and have you a part of it. And we want you to share your story and also do a roundtable with the dispatchers that we are going to be highlighting. And we would love for you to be a part of it." And of course, immediately I'm like, hell yes. Well, I didn't say hell yes, but I was like, yes, I would love to. So we had a couple calls. Okay. Actually, we had one call. We had one call. We didn't practice this. We did it. We just went into it. I had the agenda. All the people were set up. We did this over Zoom. We did this live just this past Thursday on the 13th. So I went through the week at the Be the Difference conference. And then the next day, I had just a few hours to really get down what I wanted to say. We had 3 questions that I use on the podcast. And we start, I check in and we start testing everything. Now, here's the thing. My Spanish is okay, but it's not like, it's not amazing. Like, it's not fluent. I always say that my Spanish is a little more broken than it is fixed. My parents, who are super fluent, they taught my siblings and I English first. Okay. And the Spanish that we learned was talking to our grandmothers and of course our parents too, but mostly with our grandmothers. And so that's why I say it's a little more broken than fixed. It's more Spanglish than anything else. So I can understand what everybody is saying and I can speak it as well. I'm just a little bit slower to process and get it back out, but I can keep up a conversation. So I'm there on the Zoom screen, and everyone is checking in. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué están? You know, just going and going and going, and I'm like, órale, ¿qué te pasa? I'm like, hello. And so, you know, we checked all of my stuff and everything. The cool thing, I didn't know that this was a thing, but on Zoom, and I don't know if this is AI or if they had someone doing this, but you can choose translations. So while people are talking, you know, you can choose for the translation to be in English. And when they're talking, it comes over in English. So it was cool to have that. That was pretty awesome. I'd never experienced that before on Zoom, but that was really cool. So here's the thing though, we go live and there's over 300 people. I was not expecting that many people. And actually, it might have been more because people kept coming in and coming in and coming in. And the chat is just going like crazy. The majority of it was in Spanish, yes, but you know, I can kind of read some Spanish. So I'm going through it and stuff, and then it gets to my turn. And it's all I had was 30 minutes to tell a version of my story. So I kept it tight. It was 29 minutes. And then there was a presentation talking about all of the people that were going to be in the roundtable and that I was going to be the one to ask them their questions. And man, that was amazing. It was powerful. It was almost like an Imagine Listening session, but in Spanish for one of the questions. So it was called Voices of Resilience. Great name. Great name. And in the roundtable, there were 10 911 professionals that I was going to be interviewing and asking 3 different questions. How did they get in to dispatch? And what were they doing before that? The second question was a call that sticks with them. And then the third question, if they could go back in time to talk to themselves, what advice would they give themselves at the beginning of their dispatch career? So again, there was 10, and they were representing Costa Rica, Ecuador, the Dominican Republic, and Uruguay. And it was one of the coolest things. Again, such an honor to be able to do that with all of them. But when we got to the question of a call that sticks with them, 2 people shared saves. The rest of them shared, again, some of those hard calls. And each one of them kind of said the same thing in the beginning. And I feel the same way. It's hard to choose just one because there are so many. And I wish, and I told them this as well, I wish that I could have reached out and hugged every single one of them. Because some of them broke. They were crying hard. And the amazing thing is that they had people there to hug them, to hold them, to give them tissues, whichever. One of the most powerful moments. 10 people answering that question. It, again, it's hard to put into words, just the fact that I had the opportunity to do that. And each one of them are going to be coming on the podcast as well, because we are going to do a Latin American series / edition of Within the Trenches podcast. It's going to be episodes that we share, that I'm going to share rather, on the podcast. And yes, there'll be interpreters. There will be people there to interpret in English so that everybody will be able to understand. Um, so I'm really excited for that. I am super excited for those episodes. There's going to be 10 of them. So to everyone that was on, thank you. Thank you for what you do, and I'm proud of all of you. Thank you. And again, to Karen and everyone part of your organization that pulled this together so quickly, and to be able to have me on as well to share my story with so many people throughout Latin America, and to be able to run the round table, to moderate it and ask these questions, just all of it was amazing. So thank you so very much. Gracias por todo. Porque una voz puede cambiar el mundo. One voice can change the world. And I'm talking about all of you. So that was one of the things that I wanted to share with you all. Before I share this one last thing, before I go into the wrap up of this open mic, which has been so much fun to do this with all of you, where will I be next? Well, we are going into the week of the 17th, but the following week, I am going to be in Ohio. I'm going to be with the awesome people of Chagrin Valley Dispatch. I'm going to be out there for 2 days, actually 3 days, 2 days teaching and my 8-hour course, my communications course. And then the third day, I'm going to be recording episodes with folks out there and kind of highlighting their center. And then after that, I'm going to be out in Texas at the ranch. And that is going to be a lot of fun as well. I talk about it all the time out there at the ranch with my good friend Joe Serio. And so that's going to be fun. I'm going to be out there at the end of March. I don't know if this has come out yet or not, but I'm just going to say it now. I'm going to be in Missouri, teaching in Missouri as well. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. April, I'm going to be at the Navigator Conference in Florida, in Orlando, Florida. And then let's see, the beginning of May, I will be out in Colorado. I'm going to be doing their pre-conference course there, which is my 8-hour communications course. And I am also going to be there for the week doing the podcast. And I think I have 2 other teaching spots. I have to double check on that. But then in June will be the NINA conference in California. And also I'll be teaching in Texas again in Tarrant County. A lot of places getting a hold of me to teach, and I love teaching. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to all of it. So many different things coming up, a lot of changes, a lot of updates on a lot of different things. One of the things that I want to share with you here today. So as today is Leah says, love your content. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Today's not only the anniversary of the first 911 call placed, but it is also book launch day. Okay. It is book launch day for Ricardo's version of Imagine Listening. And what I mean by that, if you find Imagine Listening on Amazon or anywhere else, and it looks like this is not the one that just came out. This is the original Imagine Listening book. It is also the one that I got screwed on. This is the book from when I was with my now former publisher. The book that I never received royalties for. That after a year of being lied to, finally found out about where those royalties went. And I'll just leave it at that. If you see this one on Amazon, this is not the one that released today. I ended up canceling that contract, and I ended up self-publishing volume 2, and then redoing, redesigning, and republishing volume 1. So again, if this is the one that you see on Amazon or any other store, this is not the one that just launched today, February 16th, 2025. This is not the one. Now, if people buy this one, then, that's fine. I'm never going to see anything from this specific book. What's more important to me is the fact that the stories are getting out there. That's what's important. But I just wanted to tell you, this is not the one that came out today. Instead, this is the one that came out today. Ricardo's version of Imagine Listening, Volume 1, Your Worst Day is Our Everyday. And it is definitely a bigger book as well. This is the soft cover, but there is also a hardcover. And I am super proud of this. Excuse me. So if you see this on Amazon, this is the one. This is the right one right here. The one that actually says Volume 1. Okay? But can I see the front? Yes, right here. This is the one that just came out today. Okay? So again, today is book launch day. And I'm super excited. There's something else that I want to make sure to mention. Now, I did put this in a video that is out there, but I wanted to make sure to show this as well here. So also, the pictures here, this is a way better version than that other one. Seriously. Some of the images that were there, they don't, you can't even see what it is because it was so dark. Like the publishing house that I was working with, they didn't even give me the information. Like I did all the research on it when I ended up self-publishing book 2 and this one as well. And I mean, the images on these are it's so much more different and vibrant. I mean, these alone right here, this is a big difference from the original one. Huge difference. Super excited for this one. So volume 1 and 2 are now out. Now, you've got all of these stories in this volume from people who sent them in, okay? But at the very end, there's page 134. This is page 134. It is blank. And it's like that by design. I know some people might see it and think, oh, there must have been a mess up or a typo of sorts. You know, that wasn't supposed to be in there or something because it's a blank page 134. No, it is like that on purpose. The reason is because your story is not finished. So if you feel so inclined, you can add your own I Am 911 story on this page. This is for you. And even if you're not in dispatch, you can use this page to just add what these stories made you feel. But especially those, the 911 professionals of the world who get this book, you can add your own I Am 911 story here on page 134 because your story is not finished. And I wanted to do that. Some people might think it's weird, but I thought it would be something awesome for all of you. And if you do end up writing something on that page and you feel comfortable, take a picture. Send it to me. I would love to share it further. That would be awesome. But that's what that page is there, number 134, and that's why it's blank. Because again, your story is not finished. Now, I want to share one more thing here as we go into the wrap up of this. Over here on TikTok, you're not going to be able to see this. The video is already up, okay? So you can go and look at it. It's the most recent video, I believe, that I put up there. But I'm going to play this on the screen, and for all of you, I'm going to put my headphones down here so that you can at least hear it, okay? So let me switch a couple things over here really quick. All right. So I just want to make sure all of you can hear it over here. So here we go. This is the book trailer for Ricardo's version of Volume 1 of Imagine Listening, Your Worst Day is Our Everyday.
Have you ever met a 911 professional and asked, what's the worst call you've ever taken? Well, here's your answer. I heard your last breath the night you flipped your four-wheeler. I tried to call you the day you committed suicide by driving your car into a tree. Blue face, cold to the touch. I helped you with CPR after you found your infant face down, not breathing. It messed me up. I did everything I could, but it wasn't enough. You were with me from the beginning, Grandma. 27 years later, I took the 911 call when you died. How fitting to be there for me in the beginning, and I was there for you in the end. I miss you, Grandma. I am 911. This is but a glimpse into the world of emergency dispatch. But what is it really like to answer a call during someone's nightmare? What is the impact of the first responder answering the call? Available on Amazon or where you purchase your favorite books and ebooks. Imagine Listening. Your worst day is our everyday.
There you have it. That is the book trailer for Imagine Listening, Your Worst Day is Our Everyday, Volume number 1. Redone, remastered, and every single one of those stories, I don't know that I've ever mentioned this, but every single one of the stories that I read in that book trailer, those are my calls. Those are my calls. So there you have it. Imagine Listening, Volume 1 is now out. And just super excited for everyone to be able to hear it. Or read it, rather. But also for the book. And the audio book is already out. The audio book has been out. And so there you have that as well. And it looks like over here on TikTok, there was a restriction. And it's probably because of some of the stuff that was said that it picked up from the video. So sorry. But as we go into the wrap up of this, there's something that I added also to this book. And I want to read it to you here really quick. So this is what it says. One voice can change the world. One voice, your voice, can change the world. Even if you don't think your voice can change the world, remember this. Your voice can change the world of your caller, those on the other side of the radio, and those around you. That's how important you are and how powerful you are with your story and your voice. Thank you for what you do. Thank you, everybody, for being here with me this evening and who have supported me throughout the years and continue to support what I do. The amount of people who have recently said, I just found your podcast and I am binging it right now in the last couple of weeks has been just awesome. Thank you for everything. I wouldn't be able to do all of this without all of you and all of those who have come on to share their stories, especially with the I Am 911 movement. I started it, but it's because of all of you and having the courage to share your stories that have made the movement what it is, that have made Imagine Listening what it is, that have made Within the Trenches podcast what it is. Because again, when I first started this, I had no idea or never even thought that I would reach what it has done already. It just surpassed 2.3 million downloads. It's heard in over 60 countries. An organization that works with the Latin Americas wants to have their folks on to be able to push it through even more. Translations going through for the episodes, even maybe for the book too. What? There's a quote by Simon Sinek that says, people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. And the very first version of everything I do started in 2010. But the thing that really pushed all of it through even more so was 2007. When I was struggling in dispatch with hard calls, losing my mind in a sense because I had no one talked about these things. And I was afraid that people would think that I wasn't strong enough to do this or be in this profession because of some of the things that I was struggling with. I buried these calls, these stories. I found out the hard way that that wasn't the right thing to do. And one call, I feel like, after everything I've done and really just soul searching, I feel like this one specific call was what really pushed me into trying to figure out me and how to better myself and what to do to understand more about what I was going through during that time. And it was the call that I took when my grandmother passed away. And yes, if you've never heard that before, when my grandmother passed away, I took that call. Now, it was expected, okay? Like we knew my grandmother was getting close. However, I was on backup phones, backup radios. The odds of me being the one to take the call, I can't even say. I have no idea what the numbers are. But my coworker asked if she could get up really quick to go to the break room. And I said, of course, there's nothing going on anyway. Which is like tempting fate, you know? And as soon as the door shut, the phone rang. my mom's cell phone number popped up on the screen. And it was my cousin who was on the phone. And she said my name, and I said yes. And she said, Grandma just died. But you know, my grandmother left me with that story to be able to share for the rest of my time. Because I'm a firm believer that some phone calls are meant for us. And that one was meant for me. She was there for me when I was born. And I was there for her when she passed away. And a friend of mine at one time told me that was a blessing. He was right. And I miss you, Wella. When she told me I was going to do good things with what I was doing, I didn't know what at the time. But here I am. And I wouldn't change it. It has been just amazing. And I thank you all for for giving me a moment to just kind of riff, I guess, be real with you and share, because that's what this ultimately is all about. I finally stopped caring what people were going to think if I started talking or sharing stories, and I started writing about them, and it was therapeutic, and it just continued and continued and continued. And it leads me here to all of you. Just being real with you, talking. And I think that's what people want, man. Just want to have that connection. We're a lot more similar than what we think, man. For real. Sometimes we just need to talk. And that's what open mic is all about. That's awesome. Very cool. Watching behind the headset right now. Excellent. There's so many things that I've put out there because I wanted people to understand. That's another thing. I wanted people to understand what all of this is really like. And when people started telling me, no, it's the people aren't going to listen to this, I was like, well, watch, because it's going to happen. And since I would say 2016, the launch of the I Am 911 movement and beyond, it has been the era of the headset. And we've been talking, we've been sharing, and things just continue to get better and better and better. And when I started this, I just wanted to somehow just leave kind of a mark on this profession and leave it in a better place than where I found it. And I'm just grateful and blessed that I can play a small part in your 911 journeys, or for the public to be able to learn more about what it is that we do, but more importantly, why we do it. So thank you. Where are your numbers now? Where are you coming in now? Where are you at? This is what I do with open mic. In the beginning, we check in with each other on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being shitty, 10 being awesome. And then we check in at the end. So where are you at now? I'm way above a 10, man. Over here on TikTok, Becca says your content and people's stories help. We aren't alone. We are making a difference. Yes, exactly. That's what this is all about. That's what it's all about. Sharing stories, helping people feel like they're not alone, because there are a lot of people that feel alone, especially in this profession, which is crazy. A good friends of mine, Aaron and Cinnamon, of the After the Tones Drop podcast. If you haven't listened, make sure to listen. Make sure to follow them as well. They were saying there are way too many of us to feel alone. And they're true. That's true. They're right. But it happens. But all we have to do is use what we use every single day. And that is our voice. John over here says, you have done an outstanding job and we are all better for it. Thank you, brother. Thank you for that. It's been an experience and I love it. It's been awesome going around and just meeting everyone. Angie says the 911 community is so lucky to have you in it and supporting us all. Thank you, Angie. Like I said, 911 has been a big part of my life, something that I never thought in a million years that would happen. But I'm grateful and I feel blessed. Becca says, are you going to be at any of the national conferences this year? Yes, I'm going to be in Orlando for the Navigator Conference. I'm going to have a booth out there. And I will also be at National NINA and I believe National APCO as well. I'll be posting and stuff, but I should be there. I usually am at every single national conference. Sometimes I don't have a booth because I'm doing video work and just capturing stuff for content, or I'm teaching. And sometimes I can't be by the booth and I feel bad that I'm not there. So sometimes I'm not. But I should have one this time. And either way, I'll be there because I was at the last ones as well. I was just all over the place. And people were sending me messages. They're like, dude, where's your booth? And I would say, I don't have a booth this time. I'm teaching and I'm recording content with people. But I will have a booth for this year at the national conferences. So I will be there. And maybe I'll have some swag and books with me as well. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But this live broadcast has been sponsored by InDigital, a leader next gen core services. Big shout out to subscribers as always, those who are on Patreon and everything, because I wouldn't be able to do everything that I do if it wasn't for all of you. Like, your help is amazing. So thank you so very much. And the community is open. I have to push that out to everyone. I just realized that those who were on Dare to Be Great, I changed the name of the community. So it's now the Trenches, 911 Professional Community. And when I did that, it changed the link. So I need to send an email out to everybody and be like, I apologize. If you've been trying to get back into this thing, and so, yeah, I'm sorry. I have to send that out, but I have added every single session from Dare to Be Great 1 to 6. They're all on there for an easy way for you to access them. The community is free. Eventually, I might have some paid stuff that's going to be on there, but it's free to get in and, explore, talk to other dispatchers, connect and everything. I might be doing community lives there as well. So look out for all of that stuff. And, also, every round of the Dispatchers Roundtable are on there as well. So make sure to check that out. A lot of good resources, content, and everything, and adding more and more people so that we can continue building that community. So make sure to check that out as well. And if you have any comments, questions, or you ever want to be a guest on the show, the flagship show, that is, you can email us, and that's going to be wttpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that is wttpodcast@gmail.com. But the easiest way to do all of this is to simply go to links, and that's links with 2 I's, links.co/WTT podcast. You'll find everything there: email, social media, where to hear the latest episode of the podcast. Excuse me, where to purchase Imagine Listening Volume 1 and 2, and also there's a link on there to get you into the community. So all of it is there. Is the easiest way to find everything. Again, this live broadcast sponsored by InDigital, Leader Next Gen Core Services, and then you can see this on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, sometimes these, like the episodes, if I ever do an episode live, I've done a few, but LinkedIn Live is in there as well. And then over here on TikTok as well. You can see them there and all the other videos and content and stuff. And then for the podcast itself, you can listen 24/7 on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app, and withinthetrenches.net. Have a good one, everyone, and we will see you all in the next one.